Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. This morning we're going to be talking about why you should quit alcohol. I know maybe you have thought about it. If you're an alcohol taker, perhaps someone has suggested it to you. But to join me in having that conversation as to why you should quit alcohol is the lady who is the chairperson of the Graceful Recovery Center. Her name is NKATHA Mwenda. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, first interview of 2023.
First interview of 2023, true. First lady here, actually.
First of everything. Yeah.
Tell me,
Yes.
do you have a personal story with alcohol?
Yes, I do have a personal story of struggles with alcoholism. And it's been 6 years of sobriety, December 24th, 2022. So I drank for over 12 years before the sobriety. And it started something, it just started politely. I just cleared my high school and joined flying school. I aspired to be a pilot. I always wanted to fly the national airliner. And,
That's a good dream. A lot of people have that one.
yeah, and at that time, the female pilots were few, and there's one who, let me name her, you know, she's called Cocky.
Yeah.
Was an
We know
inspiration.
Yeah.
And so my parents were very cooperative. They always want the best for us. So went to flying school. In fact, I thought I knew the flying schools until my father, you know, mentioned, I will take you somewhere. It happened that the company he worked for as an accountant had the largest maintenance aviation workshop, what do you call it, a hangar at Wilson Airport. And they obviously had a flying school. So I went to flying school, grew up pretty sheltered, brought up in church, and there was a lot of don'ts. Do not, do not, do not. And one of those was alcohol, wrong company. But there was something about this new environment, the freedom. I'm flying, you know, something I had always wanted to do. And these things are not planned. After school, when you hang out with the people in school, I happened to make friends with certain young men. And something that seemed so innocent, you know, one day we're just chilling and someone asks, have you ever smoked, or would you want to try? And I'm like, okay, interesting. And I took some to carry home to try it there. Because I had never done it. I never even thought about it. But there was an allure.
Curiosity, yeah.
Curiosity. So where we live, we had a big shamba at the back with cows. So one of those evenings, we'll go amongst the cows.
I can imagine.
And I tried the puff, and I'm like, you know, okay, I don't like it, but okay. Go back to school.
You know, it's very few people who have liked their first experience.
The next thing, it's join us for a drink after school. So something just started innocently, and that's why I keep saying it could be peer pressure. Most young people are smoking and drinking or taking a substance because they have been introduced by somebody who is in their group, a peer group, or even someone they look up to and they just want to fit in. So I didn't know, innocently, just introducing these substances into my life then would become something I would be dependent on later on in life. Yeah, so that's how it started off. I got my private pilot's license to mean I fly a single engine aircraft, and I was ready to pursue commercial,
progress.
Yeah, to progress. And that's where something happened. My parents recommended I go to university as they sorted themselves out financially.
Yeah, because it's crazy high.
Yeah, it is. So at that time, I'd already gotten prospectuses from flying schools in America, you know, Texas, South Africa. You're looking at places where the weather was good throughout the year. You just go do your commercial license, come back and convert and start your career. So when they asked me to check for other, you know, a university diploma or something to do as they sorted themselves out, I was referred to University of, to a certain local university. And I went there with my results slip And I didn't even see the person I had been sent, the family friend. At the reception, I showed my result slip, and they were like, "Aya, you were called to campus. Congratulations. You've been called to pursue a Bachelor of Science degree in nutrition." Cones, Mr. Cones, I'll tell
And
you
you're
that
not really
was,
feeling that, I know.
that was the worst day of my life.
I can imagine, yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking,
Flying and versus nutrition.
and nutrition, foods, nutrition. Yeah, I was good in home science in high school. I was a
can
home
imagine
science
even the word.
prefect
Yeah,
in high school.
Sasa hizi ni-
And I'm
ni-
thinking,
you know.
and
You were literally brought back to the ground.
exactly. So I knew when I get home, I'm not telling anyone. But obviously, I had been referred to someone. So by the time I'm getting home, it's celebration. Oh, first girl to be called to university by merit. Just to say, I went to university, very disappointed. I felt, I will say I felt like maybe my parents didn't really care. You know, how can I go to this public university? I'm meant for the skies. So in my mind, you know, now with retrospect, you know, after looking back, I must have now gotten into depression and, you know, really sad, sulky. I would just go through the normalcy of life, but I was not happy. And then that drew me to what I had been introduced to in flying school.
And this is other things going on. So.
Exactly.
And they're, you know, they're giving you a good feeling.
So I started drinking when I'm not in class. I'll be at the student center, discovering this alcohol that doesn't taste so good. And so many things happened during those 3 years of university. And I say 3 years because the university had the trimester you could go for. Instead of the long holidays, you would come in for the summer classes. And during summer class, the summer classes, I remember being, what do they call it? They would have exchange students come in from abroad, and I'd been paired with one, and we lived a different lifestyle, you know, with a lot of travel around the country because of this foreign students who we were assisting, you know, just to cope with this Kenyan environment. So that gave me more opportunity to drink and just be away, and where I really drank. And in the drinking, there was a lot of things that happened, you know, attempted rape. I'm sorry. I would at times I would get drink too much, not get to campus, you know, to my room, you know, funny compromising situations. But what really broke me was the attempted rape. That changed my life, you know. The perception I had of marriage, relationships just went down the drain. And so to cope with also the whispers, because I did try to get help. And there was, the help wasn't forthcoming. I remember going to the station, a police post, and, you know, with a swollen lip, and trying to explain what had happened. And they're already saying, but you are drunk, you know.
So it's okay.
Do you know the guy? You know, things like those. Getting home because of the concern. You know, when you're drinking, people notice. Alcohol has a smell. You can't conceal it. And so, because of the constant advice, constant concern from my parents, you know, I was unable to share with them these horrifying experiences, because then in my mind I was thinking they'll tell me, but we told you, when you drink you get compromised. So no one ever knew from home what had happened. When I got home, I remember my mom very concerned, and I told her, no, I fell off the bed, because I knew it would come with what I thought. But you know, parents are compassionate. What I thought maybe would not have been how they would have responded, but I thought they would react in a certain way. So I kept it to myself. I've only recently spoken about it in March last year, when, you know, God pushed me to share the challenges I had with alcohol for a greater purpose, you know, to just tell people they're not alone. And also alcohol, see, Maji, you know, alcohol does damage your body, but also you can get addicted. And in addiction, you know, that's a completely, totally tough experience, those who've been through addiction. So it is through campus that I really, really drank. After high school, after campus, I got a job, an international job. I covered, those were 3 countries, and I was a product manager for an international company in supplementation. We call it network marketing. So the product was food supplements, top quality natural supplements. So my role was to educate on nutrition, because now, you know, I'm a nutrition consultant. And I traveled everywhere. There's no little town in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi I do not know, because that is what I did. I used to go out to support the numerous distributors who have joined this network, and they can be able to familiarize the role of these nutrients and why you need to supplement. And funny enough is, after all these meetings, guess the obvious spot after work would be the bar. So it would be the bar, say, in Kampala after work. It would be the bar in Kisumu after work. Not maybe all the time, but there would be consumption of alcohol. And it's not your regular, let me have a drink. It is, I was drinking to get high. That's how you know you have a problem. Because many people are saying, I use alcohol, how do I know I'm an addict? When you have no control, there's no...
When you start and it keeps going.
Yes, when you have no control over your drinking, then you know there is a problem and you need to check yourself. Obviously you notice, I notice severally. So what happens when you notice you're drinking too much, and your friends will always notice? You change friends. You know, you change the places you hang out. People who drink alcohol, or those who are addicted and don't know they're addicted, many people are in denial, you'll just find you make friends easily because you have a common uniting factor, which is the substance. So I made many new friends in quotes. They're drinking buddies. There was always going to be a plan. And so that happened. I worked for this company for quite a number of years, about 9. Every year I would go to America. And even after all those activities, there had to be the wine. You know, we would be hosted by the owners of the company. And looking back, I used to look forward to the drinks afterwards. And wow, instead of sightseeing, you know, you go off the San Francisco Bay and all that, but you're just thinking of your drink.
I see that when people go on holiday a lot. And even for myself, at the height of the drinking, is you can go to a beautiful place and not see it.
You don't see it. For you, you just want...
You can be in Diani, you are never at the ocean, ever.
And what they're saying is, you know, alcohol increases your dopamine levels, the feel good. So it is a shortcut to feel good. You know, you've not worked towards it because you can feel good in other ways. You can go out jogging. You know, you can do something that makes you happy, a sport, you know, play music. But now here we have substances that will get you high in a short way. So you tend to run for the one that will give you satisfaction.
The quick fix,
the quick fix. And that's the problem. You know, alcohol is harmful. Let me just say quickly that when I was pushed in this direction, I'll tell you for a fact, March 2022, first, second, and third, hardest days of my life. But on the 4th, I say that's when life began for me. Everything changed, even my personality, how I look at life. But what happened on first, second, and third is I was reminded of my drinking days. I was reminded of what is happening now. You know, there's too much marketing of alcohol, drugs, the accidents and all that. But why you're noticing it more than before is because of social media. There's so much access to social media today, Twitter, everything and all. So God tells me, I want you to share how you struggled with addiction to alcohol. But why I want you to share is because I want the highlight to be how you got healed. I didn't go to rehab. I knew I had a challenge from the onset, especially when you binge on the drink and you wake up the next day and you're praying that you're in your house and not some place that you have that you have your phone, and you pray that you didn't spend so much money, you know, or things like those. So
You know what I used to do? You know, it's funny. There was one time, you know, this is just terrible. One time I was in a relationship and, you know, you're drinking, and I would at night, when I'm getting high, write down what I've just said.
Good for you, you're a smart man.
And put it in my wallet. Not because of past
Yes.
instances where in the morning you're saying this, but Jana, you said this. So the first thing I'll do is wake up in the morning, remove my wallet and look for this paper. What did I say yesterday to my mom, to my girlfriend,
Exactly.
to my, you know, so I can keep up there.
Yeah, because when you black out,
The
or
thing
you
going,
can't
because when you
remember,
black out, you can't remember
You
anything.
can't
You don't remember
remember.
how you got there, how you left.
and some promises you make is because you're in that.
Yes.
You're in. I mean, your senses. You're not.
Yes.
You're not normal.
It's a very dark place to be at.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
wow, that's accountability. What? So that you're not told
No, I've
you
reached a
say
point
it.
where, you know, your relationships are falling apart. And they're
Yes.
falling apart every time you drink. So it's either you're having a fight when you're drunk, you're having a fight the following morning.
True. True.
So you get to a place you realize, and because you still want to control it so that you can continue drinking,
Yeah.
you know?
You know, I look back and I'm wondering, the hangovers were the worst, and when you can't remember, you know, the memory loss
Yeah.
was also worse. But never at that point in time did I question the safety of the drink. Are you getting?
Yeah.
I never questioned
You still
why
want to.
I still want.
Yeah.
I still would drink,
Yeah.
and that's why. And that's what this conversation is about. And just to go back, what I was saying earlier is, when I'm being pushed into the direction to speak, it is so that people can understand alcohol addiction is also deeper than, you know, just addiction. It could be, it has a spiritual angle to it. You know, it could be generational curses or bondages, you know, in terms of explain how it is that all the firstborns are alcoholics in all that family, or even the parents, you know. So that's what I was being highlighted, that's what was coming up.
That there's more to this than just...
That there was more to it than just a
The drink.
spirit, you're drinking and having fun. But those 3 days, I'm telling God, but the shame, the condemnation, how can I come out? I'm a woman. And he's telling me,
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma.
he's telling me, and that's what we need to do to break the stigma, because as people are getting deep into depression, they are getting messed up because of all the substances, the organizations that are getting richer every day at the expense of these people whose health is at risk. And if we don't do something now, can you imagine what will happen to your son and his children and his children's children? We won't have nowhere to live if we go in that direction, because alcohol has been normalized for centuries, and therefore it is harder to be able to say, hey, you know, alcohol is not good for you, because someone will tell you how even Jesus drank wine, or he turned water to wine. You know, people are referencing about their forefathers. But now, as more studies are being done and scientific evidence being presented, as recent as now, you know, World Health Organization is telling us any amount of alcohol is exposing you to the risk of cancer, and 7 cancers in specific. On top of that, there are over 200 diseases that we're exposed to when we drink alcohol. So it is now understand what my opening up with my struggles and just fighting the fear, fighting the stigma. I had made amends when I became sober, especially with my family and things like those, and people who mattered or who were in my life. So God is telling me, then speak. Because when you speak, you never know. You could direct someone into recovery. You know, someone could listen to your story and get inspired. And I'll let you know what we are doing currently, and that is happening. Many positive responses coming from sharing a story. But I have been pushed in the direction of, hey, what are governments doing? You know, these products are legalized, yet they are harmful products. Are there things that can be done to highlight the harm? We're not saying stop selling alcohol. That's none of my business. My point is, number one, alcohol is described as a toxic psychoactive substance with dependence-producing properties. that has been used for centuries. That's what our World Health Organization is telling us. To mean, if you take alcohol today and tomorrow, and the next day and the next day, your usual drink, next week try and stop. You will not stop because your body has already adapted to it.
Yeah.
And if you don't give it this dose of substance, you will have discomfort, which is called withdrawal.
True.
And that's what we call kutoa lock. You will have a drink tonight and have a hangover, sleep it out.
True.
But many cultures, world over, you will find someone having a drink either in that morning or later in the afternoon to get back to normalcy.
What I used to find most, sad was, when you have had too much alcohol and then you're puking overnight, in the morning, you're retching, and you're telling yourself, I'll never do this again. And alcoholics, I know you're there, you know these things. You say, "Ini mara ya mwisho. I can't believe this thing has made me do this." And then when the vomiting stops, the first thing that makes you feel good is a shot of alcohol.
And you know why? And that's the danger. And that's
it's just,
it's because your body has become used to it. And to get normal, you need a fix of that substance.
Or you've got a shaky hand, but when you take alcohol, it stabilizes. Or you have, messed up thoughts in the morning, and you take alcohol, and suddenly you're seeing a little bit clearer. You can go to work, and
And that's what we're saying. That's now
dependence.
Substance, So you become dependent on this drink. Many Kenyans are alcoholics. Many Kenyans are addicted. They're dependent on this. They call themselves functional alcoholics.
They do, yeah.
But they are dependent on it. I like where Denzel, Denzel has been sober. Washington, the actor, has been sober for many years. And I like one clip he talks about, many people are saying, we're functional alcoholics. Then he says, switch it off for a week. We see if you survive. Many people can't survive without a drink for a week. Then there's a problem. This alcohol has dependence properties. So it is automatic you become dependent, and it is automatic you become addicted. And when you become addicted, now alcohol becomes the fixation. You need a fix, or the substance of use becomes the one that you will do anything for.
True.
And that's where you find people selling property, people lying their way through life to just get money to access these substances they're using. And they don't notice their lives spiraling down because their priority is to get high.
I hear you.
So my concern or my push is, NKATHA tunafanya nini? NKATHA, we should not be saying at the drink responsibly. NKATHA is an authority that should be saying, guys, this is what alcohol will do to you. If you are drinking, reduce, keep off. Don't tell us to drink responsibly. I think that's not your role.
The drink responsibly guys should be the makers of the products. Those ones can tell you.
Those ones can tell you because they know what they are doing.
Yeah, because
but they cannot come. But those manufacturers are going rogue, and they're telling us drink better. There's no drinking better. A toxic substance. You drink better. You're telling us drink better, fry your liver, become dependent on our products. Yeah. When you get addicted, you're alone. Uko peke yako.
Some things are even called crisp, smooth. Oh, I tell you. I'm going to take a break on that note. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away. We are speaking to NKATHA Mwenda. Are you drinking too much? Let's talk about it when we come back.